pitched this really grand proposal. I think I had an office. And I remember saying, if you believe in this, I will back you. And so the journey began. So from that point on, I threw everything I could at getting us into a position to pitch and win. Little did I know at the time that I was heading for Wagga and Dubbo, and he had plans for Paris and New York. There have been some notable achievements. He brought us Illawarra Nursing Services, Kenilworth Nursing Services, 2 nurses in a kitchen table. I walked past a nurse, I met a nurse in a bar one night. Who can forget better care at home, just better care, more care, any care, any care. And of course the piece de resistance, Homescare New South Wales. Or as it's affectionately known with the Legal Risk and Compliance team, the Royal Commission. In an effort to convince everyone, including the AU Board and the New South Wales State Government, that he actually had an inkling of how to operate a care business, Cam strung together these kitchen table operations until he had the veneer of a front office. And so we marched off to Macquarie Street in Sydney with much swagger. Much to my horror, I very quickly discovered that he actually had 2 hamsters and a wheel backstage, and an operating model called Win and a Prayer, which he has since trademarked. The subsequent integration was called Waratah. I worked closely with Cam on Waratah, which is probably the greatest project in Australian Unity history, and in the country that year. 4,500 staff, 50,000 customers moved in 12 months. The largest order of cares in one hit in the Southern Hemisphere, 4,000 phones deployed across 80 branches. I could go on, but I think a note from the Farrer Albury branch manager, Diana Conley, that perhaps sums it up best. She says in an email to Cam, which he leaked, "Personally, I'm very sorry to know that you are going. I don't know that we are finished with your leadership, knowledge and experience yet. I don't know that the business is ready for you not to be here. But I also know that we will continue on the path you have forged for us. I cannot begin to comprehend how daunting the journey must have been once Australian Unity was announced as a successful tenderer for home care services. How you managed to stay upright through, I'm sure, some very dark days is remarkable. I have no doubts there must have been many what the hell have we done moments. I also have no doubt in perhaps some private moments that there may have been times when you questioned how the hell home care services ever functioned at all. I hope in time you can look back and understand and appreciate the enormity of what you achieved, and I know that you didn't do it all alone. At times you must have felt very alone." She then added, "P.S. Cam, did I get the wording exactly how you wanted?" Robert Kent interestingly said he's been like the Pied Piper of the former home care services. He led and we followed. HDS is where we are today because of his vision and leadership. There have been many other comments and tributes, but all far too glowing to include in this speech. Who is Cam? There are many Camerons, and you know them all. Or perhaps you've touched some of them. The troubled genius. A man who put an admin branch in the busiest shopping centre of Coffs Harbour and a retail outlet in the back streets of Campbelltown. An ability to provide deep, meaningful, data-driven slides to the board that cannot possibly be reconciled to anything. Even by one of Cameron's robots. He has the knack of agreeing with you, but as you leave the room, you've got no idea what you disagreed. The ability to stay one step ahead of any prioritisation exercise. A man so driven by purpose, he reads emails on his phone whilst at the urinal. A man so consumed with nailing his vision that he would rather wear a jumper on a 35-degree day than waste time ironing a shirt. PwC thought they knew what a hockey stick was until they met Cam. Wayne Gretzky thought he knew what a hockey stick was until he met Cam. PwC can now stand down the entire department of futurists and psychologists they have set up around this man. Cam the expert. Cam was the first person globally to implement Procura with no testing whatsoever. He stayed ahead of the PMO with the genius tactic of changing project names weekly. By the way, the project community couldn't make it today. They have their group therapy session titled There's Something About Cam. He's the third most mentioned person ever in internal audit reports. Mind you, Simon Liu and Brian Denson are the first two. His skill set is enviable. A technologist who taught Tahir everything he knows, a project manager, a managing director, an HR expert who selflessly and without criticism directed the HR team about their tasks. In fact, so enthused with HR, he's told me he's writing a book on HR titled, What the Fuck Do They Do All? A pioneer of agile delivery, so agile you could never find him and work out what he was doing. An ever thoughtful leader, Cam was always the last person at the bar and offside. Selfless act. A man obsessed with the Sydney office Christmas after party. More effort into the after party than the actual party itself. The runner-up to the cookie challenge at the 2008 board offsite, where his ability to lick his own earlobe almost paid off. You could eat a cookie off your forehead. Cam the contradiction. A man who struggled to travel across his own area of operations now joins a travel company. A man turning his back on the ability to make systemic changes to our health system in order to stuff obese folk onto cruise ships. Mind you, Remedy are pretty grateful for the pipeline. A walking water bubbler. I will miss the updates on what actually goes on around the company. Who is romantically inclined to who, and who is next out the door. I used to wait nervously during his updates for my name to be called. Fortunately for me, that has not happened yet, although there is 24 hours to go. In his time, Cameron grew revenue from 2 million to 300 million. Mind you, he grew expenses to 500 million. A bit of a silver spoon, and not too shy to approve a purchase order or two. Some of his most notable expenses include getting lobster served at the infamous IL $10 million conference and chartering an aircraft to Lightning Ridge. There are many things I'm grateful for having met Cameron. Without him, I would not have seen the big banana, the big merino, the big stiletto, the big bogan, the big prawn, and the big train wreck. Luxury escape, more like lucky escape. Swanning off on international travel while the rest of us are left to age rapidly, being chased by PwC across New South Wales. A confounding character. We sent in Sarah Kelleher, our finest, as a kind of Cam whisperer. But there was to be no taming. In fact, the experience was so bad she bolted to Paul Ryan, another guy. An ability to be at the scene of so many crimes, but able to ghost into the night. That faded image hanging in the shadows near the police tape, but too grainy to be identified. The least inflections in his voice than any Australian I've ever met. A very dry sense of humour, so dry it can drain a bottle of water from 10 yards. In fact, some are attributing the drought in New South Wales to his humour. Cam, as my leadership team peeled off during the year, I consoled myself with the fact that it was because of you. Unfortunately, now I have to face the reality that it's me. Cam, thanks to the wizardry of Kath the Magic Dragon, you leave us owing $5,975,346.12. We'll take it in luxury escape credits, thanks. Cam the person. Those that know Cam know that he's faced an ongoing battle of the bulge. Notwithstanding his current success on his self-proclaimed #90 by Noosa campaign, as he attempts to strip down from 108 kgs to 90. Another one of those hockey sticks. He's fluctuated wildly between short-lived diets to feasting with ruthless domination at IAL morning and afternoon teas, and indeed trawling the building for any accessible On 2 occasions, according to Kelly Johnson, the over-exuberance resulted in a pants blowout. In the business where the seams at the back and disturbingly on one occasion at the front of the pants go away in a violent and irretrievable fashion. Occasions he felt necessary to share with Kelly in the flesh. A sweetaholic. Beck recalls a particular one of his favourites being homemade jelly cheesecake. Slice, to which he literally cannot say no. She said, I gave him a box to hold while we drove on a road trip, and he made me hide them away because he couldn't control himself. Good luck with the temptations on those all-you-can-eat buffets. A family man who loves cooking, Hawthorne. His lovely daughter is a classical musician, a master of haiku, a Japanese poem. A man with an unusual style of dancing that resembles the sort of a pissed duck. But on a personal note, as I went through my own divorce, Cam gave me perhaps the best advice of my life. From the perspective of a kid who went through a divorce, which was really good, and I'll forever be grateful for that. So Cam, we'll miss you all. Well, perhaps the 50 people you've hired in the last month won't, but the rest of us will miss you. We'll miss the big mug in your emails with the cheeky grin and your humour at executive meetings. A champion of minorities, a big driver of self-determination in Aboriginal home care and LGBTQI. Cam's best qualities are probably not suited to a big corporate. He's incredibly entrepreneurial, can-do, a lateral thinker, and a belief that hearts and minds drive culture. He's incredibly resilient. I mean Michael Caine in Zulu Dawn resilient. With the ability to remain calm as 10,000 Zulus come down the valley at Spion Pop. He tracked down every disability customer to make sure they either made it into NDIS or received other arrangements. With Kelly Johnson, he pulled off arguably the best advert that Australia has ever done. No, not the one with the heads. The one about the NDIS and disability. He was an integral part of the Better Together model, which differentiates us from others in how we deliver care. He leaves us with great relationships with the NDIA and the Department of Health, and he led the establishment of Alliance 20, a new peak body in disability. The Hail Mary, 1 session equals 1 hour, came off this week, and in a testament to Cameron, he was determined to achieve this before he left. Cam truly understood, as I do, that the greatest assets of our organisation are our lowest paid employees. The front line, our connection with customers. His legacy will be that he transformed Australian unity. Where that transformation ends up is ours to define, but there can be no doubt who started it. We have a massive bridgehead and brand in aged care disability and Aboriginal home care. It's up to us to make it count. I've spent a lot of time thinking of a few words that encapsulate Cam, and I chanced about it in the book Jonestown, which unfortunately is about Alan Jones, but once you get over that. The reverse index of certainty. The ability to have maximum confidence with minimum research. Richard Branson once said, I rely far more on gut instinct than researching huge amounts of statistics. Cam is the embodiment of go with your gut feel, and he's usually right. And finally, Cam, on behalf of us all, please can you take your fucking hockey stick
So there may be a tendency for me to join Kevin in giving you a good-natured roasting on his farewell speech. However, I only have wonderful things to say about you, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to express in my own words what an inspirational leader you... Hold on. Sorry, it's an email from Cam. Even in his last days, his work ethic never wanes. Okay, let's see what Cam's saying. Robbo, you'll probably be asked to say a few words at my farewell afternoon tea. Brilliant intuition. I have no doubt an exceptional brand at Australian Unity, and I would like to ensure I present to the market in much the same way as I have here. An intelligent, witty, handsome, and inspirational leader. Okay. Therefore, if you don't mind, there's a few topics in your speech I'd like you to steer clear of. No worries, mate, anything for you. So first, I don't want anyone to mention my Oprah Winfrey-like weight swings. I've gone from 90 kilos to 108 and back again, and it's no secret I've split my pants with the Nevertheless, I think people see me as a young, fit go-getter, so I'd like if you left my weight issues aside. So, yep, no worries, mate, I won't put that in space. If you can, leave out any reference to the term cowboy. I think I have Kevin and Rowan saying startup mindset. So it would be good if you can sort of keep that narrative going. Also, when I wrote my resignation announcement for Kevin to send out, I used the term penchant. I think it was received really well, so maybe include that. Maybe say you have a penchant for innovation or something. Robbo, if Ted is at any of my numerous goodbye celebrations, it's probably best to not to mention my big noting that I'm also the boss at home. Smart call. I prefer some of the things raised at my 40th not to come out again. Yeah, that just reminded me. People generally see me as quite a cool dude at Australian India, and it's a much younger team at Luxury Escape, so I don't want to come across as dorky at all. So, you know, steer away from things like me being a tuba player and really being into band camp. The fact that I was really into sewing all through high school, used to sew my own clothes, and I still count my overlocker as one of my prized possessions. Don't mention the Sea Scouts, please. You can mention I used to have really long hair. In fact, I'd like people to know I didn't always have such a massive forehead. But there's no need to tell anyone that when I cut that hair off, I plaited it and still have it at home. That is me. Oh, and don't show any of those embarrassing photos of me you have. It's not funny and you'll just come off juvenile. Number 6. Sometimes I can come off as a little belligerent to co-workers, so I don't think Helen Jones should get a mention. Happy for you to talk about my PowerPoint skills, and if you want to add a little bit of ribbing in there, my insistence that each slide deck have at least 3 quotes. That will kill. You don't need to mention that I stole most of my best quotes from Chris Stewart. Like when I say, you can't solve a secret. Classic, I still love that one. Finally, Robbo, I know it's my last day and it's about 3:30, but where's my coffee and croissant? Not good enough, Robbo. Well, no worries, Cam. I'm not going to mention any of those things in my speech, and I'm sorry about the coffee. I'll get that to you after this. So as I was saying, back to my speech. Cam has had an incredible impact on Australian Unity. We may have all at one stage had doubts about the New South Wales Home Care acquisition. Mine came when Cameron invited me to due diligence during Project Balance. Some of you may recall we had a running theme of naming our projects after Roman emperors. We had Caligula, we had Diocletian, and in fact acquisition DD was called Valens. So I'm not as learned as some of my colleagues, so I had to look up what Valens was, and Wikipedia told me that Valens was the last Roman emperor and responsible for the fall of Rome. I didn't know if this was a four-choice project made by Cam or some sort of prophecy. To Cam's credit, he's shown incredible personal resilience and belief in his team. And I believe the HDS business is, because of Cameron, on a trajectory to achieve some great things in the coming year. If not, now you're gone, we'll be replacing Brad Duggan's name with yours on the list. In your time here, you've 10x'd the HDS business twice, but I think your legacy lies more in hearts and minds of our care worker population. I think there's been some really this has been really highlighted by the emotional outpouring and warm wishes you've received by so many of our team over the last few weeks. Yep, there's not many times in my life where I've felt so emotionally conflicted, Cam. I'm happy to see you progress in your career, but I'm also deeply saddened that I won't be able to work with you anymore. The last time I felt so happy and so sad at the same time, my girlfriend at university told me I was a better lover than all my mates. So Cam, you've been a great colleague, trusted and respected leader. You have a penchant for setting audacious goals, and importantly, you have been a wonderful friend to many in this organisation. You'll be sorely missed by so many. Personally, as you head off on your next adventure, your most famous quote will be ringing in my ears. You're now dead to me.
Well done, Robbo.
Thank you, I think. Look, beautiful sentiments, thanks, great words, and thank you everybody for coming today. It's quite humbling actually to see everyone here and you know, see how forward it all me to a new job next week. As Michael said, there has been, I've been quite blown away actually by the amount of emails and comments from staff I've received over the last few weeks. It's been quite humbling. And you know, I am pretty conflicted as well, but I haven't been with your ex-girlfriend, so I can't. Yeah, it's been almost, well, actually been 5 years, almost last month actually, since I started here. And we had a great start with in the COO role, but I was across all of aged care, retirement communities and home care. But home care was only, you know, a wing and a prayer of $1 million business. And you know, I was coming from a travel industry. I had to learn everything pretty much from scratch, and I didn't have much time to learn. But I was in very good hands with Charmaine and Derek and Penny up in Sydney and Marie, and they really welcomed me into the company and the business. And you know, I'm forever grateful for that. And I was really blown away in the first couple of months just how warmed, how connected to purpose, how in touch with. Frankly, human emotion, which I wasn't back then because I wasn't deaf, so. But really changed my life, to be honest. I think it made me a better person. So, you know, I really appreciate that, and I love working with Charmaine and the team. Very easy, 2 years ago, home care got so big that we had to split the division. And I remember saying back then to Charmaine, you know, I'd like to work with you in either business, so pick a team. And so she didn't choose me. Sign off many things, but she made the right choice, I think, probably. So, but since running home care exclusively over the last couple of years, I've been very privileged to work with a great number of people across all those acquisitions we did, integrations, you know, hockey stick after hockey stick every year, and you know, some of them are still here, many aren't, but at the peak Waratah we had over 200 people in that project at one point. I think Kevin Delaney hired about 95% of those just to get mobile phones out. But you know, we had the privilege of working with a great many people who were very passionate about what they did, put in effort, you know, worked extremely hard every day, and they did it all with a smile and got up the next day and did it again. But I think also, you know, while we transition INS, KNS and home care, Better Home Care were much smaller transactions. And Dean was part of that process, travelling down the Barrel every couple of days for a while there. And that was sort of the practice runs for Big Dog. And you know, as Kevin mentioned, we thought, yeah, we know what we're doing. You know, that's 3 minor ones, that should be fine. You know, we've got some going here. But adding 4,000 people to that, it's not just another couple of zeros on the end, it's actually quite significantly different, of course. I remember when doing that pitch originally with Kevin and Rowan in the room, Kevin and Rowan, different meetings, pulled me aside and said, "Are you sure about this?" And I said, "Well, I don't think we're ready as a business, but you don't get to be the biggest or the best in anything if you're afraid and don't try." And I think to their credit, and endless amazement in some respects, they backed me, they backed the team, they backed Derek, and they said, "We'll put everything we can behind this whole organisation to that idea, and we'll try and make it work." And I think that sort of commitment from your manager, you don't get very often, that sort of authority to say, "Yeah, let's have a go." That's something we know is going to be difficult, and we're not quite ready for it, let's get to do it anyway. You don't get many chances of that in your career, and for that I'm eternally grateful. And Kevin, thank you again for that. I think that's even though it was a very difficult project, it's absolutely one that's going to transform this company. It's going to transform, hopefully Australia eventually. And I think it's definitely got the potential to do that. So very, very fortunate to do that. But of course, meeting the team from Home Care Service was also inspirational. And I've got many stories about care workers, clients, and I could spend all afternoon talking about them. But there's a couple that really touched me. One was on the first days we met the team. The union organised 2 care workers from every branch to come into a room. Michael and I were there, and we were there for a 2.5-hour meeting. I spent the first 2 hours introducing everyone. And each one of them went around the table, there's about 55 of them. They all told their backstories about how they came into the industry, why they liked about it, and what was their purpose. Every single one of them cried through that story, and every single one of their backstories was almost borderline shocking. And one of the Aboriginal girls that was there actually said, and that almost made me cry, if I didn't have this job, I'd probably be dead by now. And that's the sort of passion and heartfelt purpose they have behind what they do every day. They don't just do it for a paycheck, they do it because they really, really care. And I think it was really interesting for me to say, well, if that's, you've got to honour that sort of hearts and minds approach to their job, that passion, how do you harness that? And hopefully I've done a semi-okay job of bringing that together and making a culture, or continuing the culture of we care about people, we want to do this for a good reason. And we've often made business decisions that directly impact profitability because of that. So we could have quite easily got out of NDIS 2 years ago, and that hockey stick would be real, we'd make lots of money. But we didn't do that. And Rowan and Kevin didn't want to do that either. And again, that's something you couldn't do if you're a listed company or PE backed or whatever. You make those long-term decisions really for the client in mind and for the long term. And for that, again, I'm also thankful. So hopefully I've done a little bit in the right direction of hanging on to that hearts and minds, thinking in the branch network. I think they do a fantastic job every day. Some of the staff are also very funny. We had my favourite story lately, there's many again, was a guy, Heather was telling me there's a guy out west somewhere, and he was riding his client, his car broke down, and he couldn't get to his client. There was a farmer, so he had a horse, so he started to ride his horse to work every day. But then he charged you the kilometres for the horse. What's the going rate for the mattress for hay? And anyway, one day, well, that was pretty funny. The way he tells it, I lost a kidney on the floor by this point, but then the story keeps going. He went to a client one day, and this sort of shows the macabre side of most of their humour. Unfortunately, that particular client, he was an elderly client, he passed away that day. So he walked up to the house, tied the horse out front, walked in, found the client, unfortunately passed away, he was quite upset. So I walked back outside to ride into town and tell someone, and then found out his horse also passed out and died on the ground in front of the house. He walked back up. When Heather tells his story, she does it in such a way that I was literally lying on the floor laughing about the two people who passed away. But that's unfortunately this industry. It's hear story after story about all these things that clients do and staff do, and it just crack you up. Everybody, any time, go and check out Heather and have a laugh. But I think overall the experience is definitely one to forget, but one that's taught me a lot of things. And one of them, people have been asking me, what's the biggest achievement, or what's the thing you've learned the most? And for me, it's learning, which is there is something special in every single one of every single person you meet out there. And even though it could be worlds apart from myself and someone who is a care worker in Dubbo who may not have finished high school, you can always connect with somebody on a certain thing, and that person has value and has a lot of worth and a lot to give on a very fundamental level, and it's true across the entire workforce and client base. And I think for me, that's learning is, how do you harness that? How do you, be able to connect with that? How can you bring that sort of feeling to life and actually share that across the whole organisation? And I'm hoping I've learned a bit about that. I've definitely learned humility, being, big, bravado coming out of Jetstar. That has been tamed somewhat. So we might agree, I don't know. But it feels like that. And but I feel like, the care workforce and the team around me have been able to really show us the power of human spirit, and that's what I'm eternally grateful for. Of course, in the last 3 months, we've changed the team a little bit. We've got new people in, and that's been great. And that's one of the things that Di said, which was, it was a team effort, and actually has been a team effort. There's been a lot of people around. I was very fortunate, I think, as most people are when they come into an organisation, to stand on the shoulders of giants before us. Obviously, there are many. So, Big Franco, Derek, guys had great vision, and Ron, who had a great vision. I was able to leverage that vision and stand on their shoulders and keep going and add to the journey. And so, I'm hoping that in the future, Steve and the team are also able to leverage off the past experience and history we have, and then leapfrog to the next level and status again. I think that's entirely probable, and I'm wishing everyone the most success we can. We had a speech from one of the Aboriginal guys, a guy called Paul Cullinan, in a conference last year, and he talked a lot about, as an Aboriginal elder, and he talks a lot about the purpose of life is really leading the best footsteps you can for the people to follow you. So how can you, how do you make sure that what you do and the footsteps you lead, you can be proud of, and that other people will be willing to look at that, follow you, and carry on. So I've thought about a lot about that in the last couple of years. So hopefully, I've done enough to get the business to where it is now, which is still, got work to do, of course. But to the point where the whole team can pick it up and keep it going and turn it what it can be, which is Australia's absolutely leading home care provider. In Australia, this history is probably the first business that can actually be the biggest and best in something in Australia. And it's absolutely, that potential is there, even probably more than we think so, because externally looking in, a lot of our competitors, the industry bodies, the government already think we're very much in that line. So that's been a great team. So to my team that I've just employed about 3 months ago and they're running away from, I apologise for that. I think we've got a great team now. Michael, Karen, Dean, Effie, and everyone under has been bringing that group together over the last 6 to 9 months has been fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And one question might be, well, why would you leave that? And that's been part of the struggle with me internally is, how do you assess a great team and a great potential with other opportunities that come up? And you can't control the timing when they do. But I've really enjoyed working with you, and it's hopefully we've set up a plan that's good enough that once we implement it, once you guys implement it, we'll carry HDS into the next chapter of success. And I do wish you every success for that. I know that it will be a fantastic outcome in the end. And finally, probably to Tash, who's been a great assistant the last 9 months. I didn't know how good an assistant could be until Tash came along. So she's kept me in line and really helped out more than she probably knows. So thank you to you as well. So for everyone, thanks for coming today. It's been a fantastic ride. I've really enjoyed it. There's probably one last thing I would like to do, which is, I like to, one of my mottos, one of my principles is, it's better to aim high and just miss than aim low and hit it. And part of that is having the balls to go after stuff and actually have a go. Sometimes that doesn't work in big corporates because they don't figure that they don't think that way. But importantly behind it is, how do you think big enough? How do you constantly challenge stuff to not just do incrementally better, but radically change where you're going? Because it actually fundamentally shifts behaviour. There's no way we would have the team we have today if we didn't radically create a burning platform and then line up behind it. So with that in mind, I just thought useful for every meeting from now on, where you're going to think about what could be next and what could be big. You can just put this in the middle of the room. This is the present I got from Meg back to the day. But I'm going to hand this to you, Robbo. And then, just as a reminder, don't be afraid to think big. And don't be afraid of hockey sticks. Thank you very much, everyone.
Let's capture these for Cal.